A 911 call came from inside this house on Highway 8 in Barron, Wisconsin around 1 this morning.
Nobody answered our dispatcher, but we could hear background noise, yelling for help.
With no one answering operators, deputies were dispatched to the house.
When our deputies arrived, they found a deceased male and a deceased female, both of gunshot wounds. They are the parents of Jayme Closs.
13-year-old Jayme Closs is missing, and with her parents gone, deputies are focused on finding her.
We believe Jayme was in the house when this took place. We don't know where she's gone, but we have her entered as missing and endangered in the state of Wisconsin and across the nation.
Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald is asking for the public's help in finding Jayme. The Department of Criminal Investigation and the FBI are assisting, specifically looking for leads on social media. So far, they have none.
I think there's just so many unknowns on this one. It's a residence that we have never been to. There's been no call volumes there. This was a married husband and wife. There was no divorces. There was nothing to say, oh, maybe this was a father and mother that just wanted custody. There's no custody dispute. This is their child.
With so many unknowns, investigators are working around the clock to find Jayme and to figure out who killed her parents and why. For now, Sheriff Fitzgerald wants people in this small town to be careful.
The public just needs to be more aware of their surroundings and report anything that's suspicious to us.
Jayme Closs is considered missing and in danger. She is 5 feet tall, weighs 100 pounds, has blonde hair and green eyes. If you know her whereabouts, you're asked to call the Barron County Sheriff's Department. In Barron, Wisconsin, Reg Chapman, WCCO 4 News.
Along Highway 8 on the edge of Barron, flashing lights flickered in the same spot all day, catching Debbie Church's eye, who lives just a few houses down, early in the morning.
My first thought was that maybe there was a fire or a gas leak or something.
But as the day wore on, news of what happened left her and many others in town shocked.
It's really frightening.
Investigators say it started with a 911 call at 1 a.m. at the home of James and Denise Closs.
Nobody answered our dispatcher, but we could hear background noise, yelling for help.
When deputies arrived, they found the couple dead with gunshot wounds. Their 13-year-old daughter, Jayme, was gone.
We believe Jayme was in the house when this took place. We don't know where she's gone, but we have her entered as missing and endangered.
With help from the FBI, Barron County investigators searched for clues in and around the home, extending into neighbors' yards.
Well, they came through and they looked through the house and the garage and the buildings in the back.
Although she didn't know the Closs family well, Church says their loss is painful.
Some of my co-workers knew her. They played together on their daughter's softball team. And so you feel like your heart just goes out to that family and friends and everybody involved. It's horrible.
Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald says they don't have any leads as of Monday night in what he describes as a mysterious case. It's why both he and neighbors remain hopeful that someone in the community has information that can help.
It's becoming united, from what I can tell, to help find this girl and find out and get to the bottom of what's going on here.
Sheriff Fitzgerald says investigators are also taking a digital approach on this case, looking into social media accounts on Facebook and Snapchat, hoping that the internet can point them in the right direction. In Barron, Jeff Wagner, WCCO 4 News.
Volunteers have been key in this entire process, and this afternoon the Sheriff's Office asked for help in conducting a routine search to look for evidence that may be connected to the disappearance of Jayme Closs. The sheriff asked for 100 volunteers, but it's estimated that 3 times that many showed up and dozens had to be turned away. They were put in small groups to search fields and ditches over a roughly 15-mile stretch from Barron to Turtle Lake. Whether they know the missing teenager or not, Jayme's disappearance has become personal for many.
I have 2 kids around the same age, and I would want people doing the same.
I got granddaughters and a daughter, so I don't want this stuff to happen anymore.
As the search continues for Jayme, there is also concern for her classmates and other children. The Department of Justice has deployed emergency resources to help kids deal with the trauma. Counselors and therapy dogs are now available at her school.
Is this something that could happen to me? You know, what kinds of concerns might they have? Are they safe in their own communities? Who among us could have done something like this? And so we want to address those concerns and provide them a safe place to express them without any judgment.
For people around town, life goes on as questions remain. Who killed James and Denise Closs? And where is their daughter? Answers that so far have been elusive.
This happened to our town, you know. We don't know why. Like, would understand it.
And I talked with a cousin of Jayme Closs who told me that they are heartbroken over what happened to Denise and James, and they won't stop looking for Jayme. They're asking people for prayers right now and to hang up missing persons posters around the Barron County area. In Barron County, John Lordson, WCCO 4 News.
What's your last name?
One by one, mothers, fathers, strangers from around the state and beyond ventured back to this soybean field in Barron County.
As most of you know, we're searching for 13-year-old Jayme Closs.
The final steps of a days-long journey to find the girl they consider one of their own.
It's now day 8.
You gotta do what you can to help.
Vicki Long-Henry started her morning just like roughly 2,000 other volunteers did.
Today we're going to be searching a 2-square-mile area for anything pertinent to that search.
Navigating fields, forests, and ditches in search of clues related to Jayme Closs's disappearance and the deaths of her parents. They looked for items as small as hair ties, things a 13-year-old might carry.
Well, it's just so surreal being out there, you know, and you have your heart right here the whole time, and every time you don't find one little thing. You don't want to lose hope.
Back at the staging area,
each bag had a sandwich, chips, a cookie, and fruit.
Salvation Army volunteers worked to keep everyone fed and hydrated with the food prepared by local businesses, churches, and civic groups.
This is really heartwarming because you're looking at every aspect of life helping.
It's one of the few bright spots on what's been a challenging week for investigators.
And just seeing the amount of people out here and the excitement and the hope is what we're riding on right now.
As the day came to an end, Long-Henry was devastated. No new evidence was found, but her faith remains strong as ever.
Search after search, if that's what it takes, I'll be out.
1 month later, a new reality still doesn't seem quite real for Jennifer Smith.
Our lives have just been turned upside down. It's been like a big, horrifying nightmare.
Her world changed forever the morning of October 15th. Her sister Denise and her brother-in-law James both shot dead. Jayme, her precious niece, gone without a trace.
I keep thinking maybe it started, I don't know. Because what else? I can't come up with anything. As much as my mind keeps going and trying to think of something, I cannot. Why this would have ever happened.
Just hours before, Jayme and Denise were here at Smith's home, celebrating a family birthday. James was at work. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary.
Jayme was quiet, but that's normal. She's quiet when we have like big gatherings or something, and just how she always has been.
Multiple searches, an Amber Alert, thousands of tips, and still nothing has led investigators closer to the 13-year-old girl. Smith says it stings to read some of the theories and rumors posted online.
Especially the ones, Jayme's got a 26-year-old boyfriend, Jayme's got a 19-year-old boyfriend. She didn't have a boyfriend. I would have known, family would have known.
As Jayme's dog Molly continues to wait patiently for her best friend, Smith is holding on to hope tightly that her niece will find her way back into the arms of her family.
We will not give up to bring that girl home. We love her more than anything, and we know that my sister and my brother-in-law will never have closure. Well, they won't have closure. I mean, we won't have closure. Their hearts will never rest. They won't rest in peace until their daughter's found.
That Amber Alert that was issued on October 15th after Jayme went missing is still active right now. The sheriff here in Barron County calls this case the #1 priority. Reporting in Barron, Mary McGuire, WCCO 4 News.
Now at 10, the search for Jayme Closs is over.
Jayme, Aunt Jen can't wait to come and give you that big hug.
As a kidnapped girl is reunited with family.
In cases like this, we often need a big break, and it was Jayme herself who gave us that break.
We talked to those who helped bring her to safety.
She just said, I'm lost and I don't know where I am.
While an entire town comes together to welcome Jayme home.
Amy Pullen has been working as a 911 dispatcher for 10 years. Over that time, she's taken thousands of calls, but none like the one she received last Thursday.
Douglas County 911.
January 10th started off like any other day at the Douglas County Dispatch Center.
Not a lot of calls, just kind of sporadic things.
And then that call came in and our whole day changed.
A call came in from Gordon, a town 40 miles away from Superior. Amy Pullen picked up.
Douglas County 911.
Hi. I have a young lady at my house right now, and she says her name is Jayme Closs.
Okay, have you seen her photo, ma'am?
Yes, it is her. I 100% think it is her.
It took me a couple seconds to process what she had just said. It clicked and I'm like, oh boy. And that's why I first asked her, you know, have you seen her picture? Is this her? And she was 100% sure.
Plastered on billboards, posters, and social media, Pullen had seen Jayme Closs's photo multiple times and knew how volatile of a situation this could be. Taking down crucial details like an address and the vehicle description, her voice remained soothing as help was on its way.
You guys are doing a good job of keeping her comfortable.
And you're doing a good job of keeping us calm.
That's why we're here.
On the inside, Pullen's stomach was turning.
And I went into like a full body sweat. And it wasn't that I was scared of the type of call that I was on. I was just wanting those deputies to get her as soon as possible.
After about 30 minutes, law enforcement arrived and she knew Jayme was finally safe.
The older I get, the more I believe that things happen for a reason.
Everything fell into place that day, but none of it would have been possible without the strength and courage of a 13-year-old girl.
She completely did it on her own. We just guided her home.
The next court hearing in this case is scheduled to take place on February 6th. That will be happening in Barron County Court. In Superior, Wisconsin, Mary McGuire, WCCO 4 News.
Investigators say Jake Patterson bought a mask at this Walmart as he started planning the crime. The night he took Jayme, he shaved his head and showered to avoid leaving DNA. He decided a 12-gauge shotgun would be the best choice of shell and weapon to kill someone versus a rifle. Just before 1 in the morning on October 15th, police say he cut the engine to his car and coasted into the Closs driveway. The family's dog, Molly, woke them up barking. Investigators say Jayme Closs went to the front door. He apparently thought Patterson was a police officer and asked to see his badge. Patterson shot him through the door, then shot the door to get into the house. Inside, police say he found the bathroom door shut and barricaded. He estimated that it took him anywhere from 10 to 15 hits with his shoulder before it burst open. Denise Closs was hiding with Jayme in the bathtub. She was on the phone with 911 and had her daughter in what Patterson described as a bear hug. Detectives say Patterson told her to hang up the phone and tape Jayme's mouth. After taping Jayme's hands and feet, prosecutors say he shot her mom and dragged Jayme to his car. Just 20 seconds down the road, he pulled to the side to let emergency responders pass on their way to the Closs home. Jayme was in the trunk. The shotgun was on the front seat. He told investigators he would have fired at police if they stopped him. Jayme's 88-day nightmare was just beginning. Patterson drove her 2 hours to his home. Only there did he learn her name and the names of her parents from watching news reports. Patterson made her give him her clothes. He told her he couldn't have evidence and burned the clothes in a fireplace. During Closs's captivity, Patterson would have visitors to the house, including his father. He told police he hid her under a bed and used plastic totes and weights to make sure she couldn't be seen and couldn't escape. When he would go somewhere, he told her she better not leave and told her bad things would happen to her if she tried. Last Thursday, while he was gone, Jayme pushed the barriers out of the way. Police say she put on a pair of Patterson's shoes and walked outside. There, she found a neighbor walking her dog and was finally safe.
Mr. Patterson, is your name, address, and date of birth correct on the complaint?
Yes, sir.
Just 4 days before Jake Patterson made his first court appearance in an orange jail jumpsuit, he was trying to get a job. Saratoga Liquor Company in Superior, Wisconsin confirms the application came through just after noon on January 10th, hours before Jayme Closs made her escape. Under skills, Patterson writes he's an honest, hardworking guy who shows up to work and is a quick learner.
Jayme is the hero in this case. There's no question about it. And she's the one that helped us break the case.
The business made the connection after this press conference when Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald declared Patterson as the sole suspect in the case. The 21-year-old wasn't considered for the job due to lack of experience.
We have a job to do,
This all comes as Patterson's two public defenders tell the Associated Press they face an uphill battle when it comes to their defense, given the blunt confession detailed in the criminal complaint. Going forward, the duo will look at those statements and figure out whether or not Patterson gave them voluntarily, and if they are valid.
We're confident, Mr. Patterson, his legal team, in putting our faith in the judicial system to make sure that all of it comes out appropriately.
Jones and Glynn also tell the AP it will be tough to get a fair trial in Barron County. The county has a population of 45,000, and about 20,000 people took part in a ground search for Jayme while she was missing in October. Mary McGuire, WCCO 4 News.
After reading the criminal complaint outlining the evidence that led to the charges against Jake Patterson, criminal defense attorney Lynn Torgerson is convinced the case won't go to trial.
This is a very unique case, and there is no defense. The facts are pretty horrific.
Torgerson has no affiliation with the case, but her experience leads her to believe Patterson and his team will enter a not guilty plea Wednesday, despite the fact that the 21-year-old admitted to police how he abducted Jayme Closs from her home.
There's just a certain, life to a case, and if the arraignment is extremely early, it would probably be irresponsible to allow your client to resolve it at that date.
She also does not expect Patterson to enter a plea of not guilty by mental defect. In the complaint, Patterson told investigators how he carefully covered his tracks to avoid detection, such as wiping down the shotgun shells used, wearing a mask, and killing Closs's parents to ensure there were no witnesses.
All of that evidence, and there's additional evidence, would negate any kind of mental defect. Didn't know that it was wrong, couldn't control myself at the time.
New evidence could also come into play, specifically Patterson's contact with reporters from jail. In a phone call with WCCO, Patterson said he was regretful and didn't want to cause any more trouble.
Pretty serious action to have called a reporter and talked to them, and certainly a defense attorney's nightmare.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO 4 News.
State versus Jake Patterson. Mr. Patterson appears in person.
Clad in an orange prison jumpsuit, accused murderer and kidnapper Jake Patterson appeared for the first time in person before a judge, his father and siblings, and the family of Jayme Closs.
Do you want a preliminary examination?
No.
And do you understand the charges against you at this time?
Yes.
Over the course of about 3 minutes, the 21-year-old waived his right to the hearing, setting the stage for a potential trial if he doesn't enter a guilty plea. Leaving the courthouse, Patterson's father had this to say to our cameras.
Pray for Jayme's family.
The courtroom where this is all happening lies just under 5 miles from where an unimaginable tragedy unfolded. After spotting Closs getting on a school bus, Patterson is accused of killing her parents and abducting the 13-year-old girl in October, a crime that still sends chills throughout the community.
It was shocking. And at first I always make sure my doors are locked, but even more so after that.
Her getting taken, it was such a big impact on our community that we all came together, more or less, to find her, but she found herself.
We're adjourned.
In light of Wednesday's court appearance, Jayme's family tells me they are focusing on justice and healing. Jayme and her two aunts, Sue and Jennifer, are, quote, very, very thankful for the wonderful support and kind wishes from all the amazing people around the world. Patterson's arraignment hearing is set for March 27th. His attorneys tell WCCO they do not yet know how he will plea. In Barron, Wisconsin, Mary McGuire, WCCO 4 News.
This is the statement of Jayme Closs. My parents and my home were the most important things in my life. He took them away from me in a way that will always leave me with a horrifying memory.
And because of this monster, Jayme won't have her mom and dad at her dance recitals. Won't have her mom and dad at her prom.
Jake Patterson will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing Jayme Closs's parents and kidnapping her for 88 days.
I would do, absolutely anything to take back what I did, I would die. I don't care about me, I'm just so sorry.
You are the embodiment of evil, and the public can only be safe if you are incarcerated until you die.
For the first time in court Friday, we saw the bathroom where Jayme's mother defended her daughter until her dying breath.
He saw Denise and Jayme huddled in a seated position in the corner of the tub. Denise clinging to Jayme, holding her in a bear hug.
And we heard the frantic 911 call Denise Closs made from that bathroom.
Barron County 911, where is your husband? Somebody I just want from.
One of the most painful things for me to think about is that the last moments of my aunt's life were the worst and scariest moments of her life.
We also saw Jayme's prison under Patterson's bed.
Exhibit 7, Your Honor, shows where the defendant confined Jayme for 88 days.
And heard about everything that Jayme's family has lost.
We now live in fear every day.
And none of us are going to win today. None of us are going to get our family members back.
But we also heard harrowing words written by Jayme about her hopes for the future.
He can't stop me from being happy and moving forward with my life. I will go on to do great things in my life, and he will not.
Erin Hassanzadeh, WCCO 4 News.
Barron's fall colors appear more vibrant this fall season, thanks not so much to nature, but the safe return of Jayme Closs.
Courage, resilience, and hope.
1 year ago Tuesday, this was a community gripped by shock, horror, and grief when the 13-year-old's parents, James and Denise Closs, were murdered. She was kidnapped and held captive 88 days until her miraculous escape.
This community has a new normal, but came together unlike anything I've ever seen or dealt with in the past, and hope to never deal with again.
To the 10 lead agents on the case, statue mementos were presented for never giving up hope. But the biggest compliment was for the girl who proved what courage really is.
She continues to work very, very hard on her emotional well-being.
On this eve of the anniversary, Jayme's court-appointed guardian marveled at the strength she's shown reclaiming her life, and then read Jayme's own words of thanks.
She says, I really want to thank everyone for all the kindness and concern that people all over the country have shown me. I'm very happy to be home and getting back to the activities that I enjoy. I love hanging out with all my friends, and I feel stronger every day.
Barron is clearly striving to move past and beyond last year's tragedy, choosing instead to use Jayme's safe return as a way of giving hope to other families that missing children do come home. In Barron, Wisconsin, Bill Hudson, WCCO 4 News.